Hello everyone, Brick Horizon here, and today I'll be showing off some amazing and uniquely built LEGO Star Wars ships. This is Obi-Wan's Delta 7 and Anakin's Delta 7 Beast Jedi Starfighters. These were the first starfighters made specifically for use by the Jedi, and with a tiny size that makes it incredibly fast and maneuverable in a way that only a Force user like the Jedi can control completely. These models were of course designed by me, and you can find the step-by-step instructions to the build and parts list for both models on Rebrickable. Since the two builds are so similar, you'll receive instructions for both of them. I made sure that there are two listings so that you can find the inventory for both of them easily. Getting right into it, you'll see that it isn't really like any other models of the same ship. While it looks like something you could find on store shelves, its design makes it very unique. In universe, this is a very small ship, so keeping it close to minifigure scale and attaining loads of detail is a difficult but manageable task. One of the things that allowed me to get such details is what makes this so unique. The whole model is an odd number of studs wide, which isn't something you'd usually see in LEGO, and it allows me to keep it very slim. The wings on this are also unique in their connection. This model uses ball joints that are slightly offset. They are also not completely lined up, but I did test this connection in real life, and it is possible without stressing the bricks, and it remains very sturdy. The wings are angled down to the sides, and this one is also angled slightly down in the front as well. All of the Delta 7s are highly customizable down to the Jedi who uses it, so you'll notice there are differences in colors, as well as the markings and even the placement of the astromech droid between Anakin's 7B, which has it in the middle, and Obi-Wan's, which places it on the side wing, where the droid is built into the wing. This mock of the Delta 7 and Delta 7B is minifigure scale at 1/37th, with the length of the model being about 8.5 inches or 22 centimeters, which makes it slightly longer than a banana, or close in scale to my Actus 2 Jedi Interceptor mock. This is an amazingly sleek ship with so many details, and we'll start off looking at Obi-Wan's Delta 7 Starfighter, which is mostly dark red and white with a few green markings. The chase between Obi-Wan and Jango Fett still lives in my head rent-free, and this would make the perfect pairing with the UCS Jango Fett Slave 1. While I don't currently have either model in hand, I have tested some of the details separately to make sure that they would work in real life for quality assurance. Some models, like LEGO's current rendition, uses this lime color for the markings, but I decided to go with olive green since it's more muted and it feels a bit more in line with the proper colors. For the front, I put a quarter tile and white grills with green underneath it to get the two lines and shape of the arrow perfect. Then in the back, I added a curved slope to make up for the shape and some more curved tiles to get the rounded shape to be perfect. One thing that I couldn't add was the Republic insignia, as that would normally be too small and end up being a sticker detail on a normal LEGO set. Apart from that, the attention to detail on this model is amazing. One of the things that I struggled with previously were sections on the wings like the black stripe, which I was able to make with the wedge plates. I also paid attention to the groove made by the gun, which I made with brackets, and I even have the white square outline represented as the clip that holds the laser cannon in place. There are also two yellow markings near the bridge, and while there are some off-white sections, I decided to keep it one color so it wouldn't be too congested. There's also one more thing that I almost forgot to mention, and that is on Obi-Wan's version, he has a few grill pieces in the middle that are representative of actual grills on the starship. While writing this video, I actually came up with a new change to both of these models, and one of them is to this one. The top of the bridge was flat, where I changed it to be more accurately angled and smoother along the top. Moving back, you'll notice details like the astromech on one side, the Republic insignias on the other, and some divots representing in black with white framing. In the very back, we have engines and a large brick-built fin. The fin includes some really small details like the thin red line that tracks to the top of the cockpit and combines into the dark red stripe at the top, which is connected to the windscreen. Then the engines, which have details that extend to the bottom of the ship, are accurately detailed with parts in light gray and even red at the front. Another underside detail that is present on both ships is the Republic insignia, which is directly under the astromech droid's head. And while there is no extending landing gear, there are bricks at the bottom to keep it steady in its landed position. This is also where you can see the build is an odd number of studs wide. This allows for some details that you wouldn't normally find in some other builds. For example, one of the main changes that I made on top was constructing the cockpit almost fully out of brackets. This allows me to get details that are almost in line with the actual windscreen piece that I used, which is different than ones that you'd usually see on the Starfighter. Also, this changes depending on what model you look at, but I added a small yellow detail under the red accent stripe near the cockpit. I thought the windscreen piece that I'm currently using is a little bit better than the bubble cockpit since it's smoother and it doesn't have a large bar in the way that adds to its length. Instead, it's connected to a jumper, and the windscreen allows me to attach studs on the top that completes the ridge, which would normally get in the way of a hinge connection. On the interior, you'll notice that there wasn't much room for detail, but I did include two pads in transparent red to represent interactable panels. There's also enough room for a minifigure, and I made a seat to go with it. One of the things that you'll notice between the two models is the difference between building techniques in the middle. The shaping between these two areas is different, with Obi-Wan's being a straight line all the way to the front, and Anakin's having this V-shaped yellow line from either side, meeting in the middle to form a thin line with a circle near the end. Earlier, I mentioned there were changes that I made, and one of these is at the tip of the ship. In the original, I miscolored these side pieces as yellow instead of dark gray, which extends from the wings of the ship, and the only stripe in the middle was supposed to be yellow. Anakin's ship is very interesting too. Since it's the Delta 7B model, it has a few important changes, apart from the color and some shapes. While there are differences in the middle, the main one is the location of R2D2. This version has a astromech port in the middle of the starfighter, a square yellow part right in front of the windscreen. There's also a notch in the bridge that is made with an inverted plate and some more wedge pieces than Obi-Wan's. The V-shaped yellow detailing is framed by six long slopes, which are unique to this version, and originally I tried to use another piece for the yellow, but I found out quickly that it was not available in that color, but these cheese slopes worked out great in place of it. There's also changes in the paint job, like the use of some slopes and more dark gray and yellow instead of red and white. It's also a lot more consistent, with there just being two colors mainly being used. And the heat dispersing divot in the back is more square on this model since there isn't any need for other details in that area. Similarly, the guns are built the same, and so is most of the structure. These two ships are very similar to one another in most aspects, especially since I got to reuse most of one when making the other. The underside is also more consistent with the colors and has the Republic insignia plus engine details just like the red version, plus it has the built-in landing gear for swift landing and departure. When it comes to handling, I've made sure that all of the connections are possible and secure. The only thing I would worry about is the middle stripe. However, it should be held in with enough clutch power to keep it from coming out of place. It's definitely a very swooshable model since you can pick it up from any point except the very tip without worrying about it coming apart. It's certainly an interesting build as it takes advantage of the LEGO system and brings a new and unique build to the table. I originally started prototyping Obi-Wan's Delta 7 when Jango Fett's starship was released so that I could pair the two together, but never got around to finishing it until I began working on Anakin's Delta 7B. If you're interested in finding the instructions to build this for yourself, you can find them on Rubrickable or through the link in the description. Also, I made it so that if you buy one of the instructions, you automatically get both guides so that you don't need to make another purchase. Buying these, or even just liking and subscribing, is a great way to help out the channel and lets me know what you enjoy. Let me know in the comments if you are interested in more variants of this ship, like how I made the 7 Jedi Interceptors. Some options that come to mind are Ahsoka's, and even the Azura Angel, one of Anakin's modified spaceships, or you can tell me what other MOCs you'd like to see next. Anyways, I'd like to thank you all for watching, and I will see you guys next time.